Hi, my name is Zowie. This is me playing Quake Live, and welcome to the Zowie Week, where each day I'll be uploading a new review of a Zowie product. To kick things off, I'm going to answer a question that's been asked repeatedly: Razer DeathAdder Chroma or Zowie EC1-A? These are large mice, around 100 grams each, and direct competitors. Which one you should choose will come down to shape, sensor, buttons, and software. First, the shape. They're actually very similar in design. The DeathAdder has a wider flare at the front, almost 7cm across, which might feel a bit more comfortable for people with hands wider than 10cm. The EC1-A is only 5.8cm at the front, but they're both about 6.8cm at the back. The EC1-A base is 11.8cm long, with a grip width of 5.8cm, while the DeathAdder has a base of 11.4cm and a grip width of 6.2cm. That means the EC1-A is closer to the 2:1 ratio that I find easier to aim. I generally recommend using smaller mice, but they should feel comfortable for people using palm grip, with hands between 17 to 20cm, claw grip 18 to 21, and fingertip 18 to 22. These are the biggest mice I've tested, other than the Rival 300, so anyone with hands over 21cm, these are my top recommendations for you. Which one overall feels most comfortable? In my hand, the EC1-A, because it has more subtlety in its curves, and the quality of the plastic feels a lot better. The DeathAdder does have some rubber grips and sort of a rough textured plastic, but is still not as comfortable. Both of these mice have top quality sensors, the EC1-A with the 3310 and the DeathAdder with the modified 3988, which is the 3989. Obviously I can't make either of these mice spin out, so we'll jump straight to the sniper test to see which one has better precision. I've tested these mice at 400, 800, 1600 and 3200 DPI, but this test is at 1600, and I'd be surprised if you can see a difference. They are both very precise, and I couldn't find any acceleration on either. The liftoff distance is about 1 DVD for the EC2-A, and in the software you can adjust the liftoff distance for the DeathAdder using the surface calibration. This automatically calibrated on the GSR to under 1 DVD, so extremely low. I can't show you which one is more responsive, but I still believe the DeathAdder has the most responsive sensor that I've ever used. In the line test, we see the same results. Very similar sensor performance, so they're both amazing, just the DeathAdder can achieve a lower liftoff distance, and it also feels a bit more responsive. Speaking of software, there is none for the EC1-A, but there is for the DeathAdder. There are some complaints about Razer Synapse, but it works well enough for me. In there you can change the lights on the mouse, redefine what each button does, and also change the DPI to the one you want. The EC1-A is locked to 400, 800, 1600 and 3200, with a set color for each. The good thing about the EC1-A is that it's completely plug and play. There is also an argument that suggests that software adds some delay. While this might be true, I don't think it's enough to be noticeable to humans. In the human click test, they score about the same. The buttons are an interesting aspect of these mice though. Here's a listen to the clicks. The DeathAdder has a lighter click force on the left and right buttons, and it's regarded as one of the top MOBA mice. The EC1-A buttons are a bit heavier on the left and right, but apparently people can use them for jitter clicking, and they're great in first person shooters. Each mouse 3 feels about the same to press in, but there's a lot more tactile feedback on the EC1-A scroll wheel, and it only has 16 steps. The DeathAdder has a soft feeling scroll, very little tactile feedback, and mine actually rattles going up. The side buttons are definitely better on the DeathAdder, very little travel and more comfortable. The EC1-A has a lot of travel, and they feel a bit too soft, quite flimsy. This is something that I really want them to address in the next versions, and the EC1-A has a DPI button on the base, which would be great to have on the DeathAdder somewhere. The DeathAdder has a braided cable, fairly soft and smooth, but it can't compete with the Zowie smooth, flexible, soft rubber cable. Due to scraping along the mousepad, we're going back to these kinds of cables. Braided seemed higher quality at first, but it's just not as practical. Still, if you get a mouse bungee, the cable really doesn't matter that much. And of course, I recommend the Zowie EC1-A. In conclusion, these are both great mice and top recommendations on this channel. For MOBA, DeathAdder is the most popular, but for first person shooters, well, you're going to see most of the highlights are on the EC1-A. Not only that, it felt better for playing too. You could say it's because I'm used to the EC2-A, but I've barely had the chance to use the EC2-A. I've been testing too many mice. and I used the DeathAdder for 5 years. The truth is, the EC1-A just feels more comfortable, and it appears to be better for FPS. So if you want a large comfortable mouse for mobile, you should probably buy the DeathAdder, but for FPS, I recommend you go with the EC1-A. Hope that helps your decision. Big thanks to Zowie for sending me their range for review. I'll link each video this week as it becomes available. And if you want to purchase either of these mice and help support the channel, you can get them from MWAVE in Australia, or you can find them on Amazon using the links in the description. And there you'll also find the links to the individual reviews. Subscribe to help me grow the channel, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.